What might you do as an employee or a manager that might make a tough work situation even worse? In my last video, I talked about Kim, who called me because two of his employees had dated. He kind of knew they dated, but he didn't know that, we'll call Taylor, had accused Tyler of sexual assault. So I talked about in that last video, I encourage you to go watch it, about some of the ways that we analyze the legal implications. But in this video, I want to get into what we did next. I'm Nancy Schick of 30-Year Conflict Resolution, where we take a holistic approach to resolving workplace disputes exactly like this one. So we had talked about how, because the sexual assault, or in this case, actually the alleged sexual assault, had occurred in the past, Kim didn't have, nor did his business have, any liability for the past circumstance. But what he needed to do is think about the future. And that was the hard part, because it brought a lot of fear of, should I be having these people work together? And really, he found himself being a little protective of Taylor and a little more judgmental of Tyler. So the first thing that we did in that context was talk about how it wasn't his role to be the judge. There had been no formal complaint. There had been no action that found liability. So really all he had was an allegation, and he found himself acting on it as if it were true. His role in this situation is to be the employer, and yes, watch for the risks. And I talked a little bit about how we analyzed that and looked at where he might create risks, not just in this situation, but for other employees. But in the context of what his fears were and quelling them and having him take more productive actions, we first reviewed his duties as an employer, and that includes treating both of his employees fairly. We explored some of his biases. He felt protective of Taylor in part because she was a woman. And he felt judgmental as a man against another man who had been accused, because he was thinking, how in the world could you do that? So we got into some of those more personal issues. And then we role played some conversations that might occur. And so sure enough, a couple of them did occur, and he had them very powerfully. Now, if you're going through something like this, we can take a strategy similar to the one that we took with Kim. So if you're interested in doing that, click that button below and schedule a consultation. Also, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, because I have one more video on this particular topic. And in the meantime, keep listening with your third ear for the hurt you can heal.